On the other hand, there is this message that that's important. Looking at the data that came out from the National Student Clearinghouse, that's not the major issue in your state. Your major issue isn't with Cal State University or the University of California. It's with the community colleges. As I showed in those statistics, your graduation rate over 6 years is extremely low, but your loss rate is not. What that means is that students at community colleges in California can't get through in 6 years. These are 2-year programs at the most that they can't get through in 6 years. And that's not just because they have to work and everything else. It is because they can't get the courses. So that really, if I had to focus, I think the focus of this state needs to be where the 2 million students are, rather than where the 500,000 students are being pretty well served today.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think that's an important argument. I'm just wondering if that, you know, we have, in many ways, we also have a funnel, and we use and presumably and hopefully we use the community colleges. If used effectively, they can be a funnel for a lot of students to go into the 4-year institutions as well. And one of the ways of creating capacity within the 4-year institutions is to shorten that time to degree.
I think that's right.
And you know, it may not be enormous numbers, but on the margin, they're not trivial.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if the governor's proposal is a way that you can, you know, along with you know, better articulation.
There's nothing
between
wrong
the segments.
with the message that the governor's trying to say.
Okay, but beyond the message, do you think the actual approach is worthy?
I think the approach is worthy. I think you will, with one exception. I think it's extremely worthy at the University of California. The University of California does not have very many non-traditional students, at least older adult students, in the undergraduate programs. It's got a fairly traditional student body, and the incentive there would be very strong. The California State University system is a very different animal. A lot of the students at the California State University system are returning adults. They're going to have to make up some courses. How do you make that manageable within that arena? I think there are ways to do that. I think it's an admirable thrust, but I think it's much more difficult to do with the clientele that serve, where you serve a substantially older returning adult population. Because how do you measure where they are, where they were, what they have to make up, where they go forward from there?
Other questions?
Commissioner Vargas?
You mentioned that because I think community colleges don't charge kind of the traditional tuition, we're leaving a lot of federal tax credit dollars and Pell Grants and whatnot that that the state could be receiving. Is there any analysis or anybody done an estimate of how much money is being left on the table by California?
Yes, I've actually done something to show how you could finance. A group I presented to before said, well, we've got supposedly 300,000 students in the community colleges that we couldn't serve. How could we finance those through a tuition? And I've done something there to show, and it shows how much is available. What I didn't do in that is what was potentially available. I believe that you've got about 5 different groups that are working on reforms in higher education. You've got California, a number of things. There's one